Welcome to the social media show here for FanDuel TV, our Del Mar Handicapping Live program on site at Del Mar. I'm Todd Trupp, very pleased to be with Gabby Gaudet. Gabby, it's our first Friday card of the season, so that means a later post time. 4 o'clock Pacific time is when this card starts. 8 races overall. But just a quick look back at yesterday, an 8-race program that had some huge payoffs. The pick 6 yesterday with the carryover coming in ultimately ended up paying $177,000 for a dollar.
Yeah. You look at some of the other races or the races within the sequence, those trifectas paid really well, the exactas paid really well. So, even if maybe you had a favorite win underneath, really paid nicely. So all across the board yesterday, we saw some really lucrative payouts there.
Okay, that's a look back. Looking forward, the field sizes are fantastic.
Yeah.
Race to race on this Friday card for 8 races.
Yep. And I really thought that some of the races in the early pick 5 sequence, I did take a stab at the early pick 5. It was really tough because the 2-year-old race within the sequence was really difficult. But overall, I really liked the early pick 5. And of course, the feature later today is very competitive.
Okay, look for that pick 5 ticket that Gabby put together at FanDuel Racing. Let's talk about one of the races in that early pick 5 sequence. Let's start with race number 4. Really like this race. 5 furlong maiden special weight event over the firm Jimmy Durante turf course. This for 3-year-olds and upward. The also eligibles are out: 10 Baltazar, the 11 English Icon, and the 12 Chirac. I think you have to start with the 7 a day to remember that we have not seen this horse since his debut as a 2-year-old, July of last year here at Del Mar. It was on the main track, but this horse was well bet in the debut. Ran a really good race with some fast fractions. Don't know why this one went to the sidelines, but I don't mind Mark Glatt off a long layoff.
And this horse showed a lot of speed first time out. You always like to see that. He ran well. It seemingly was a tough field. Slider was in there. He finished second. He would go on to become a stakes winner on the turf. So you love to see that. Now, the change with this horse, not only is he coming off the layoff, but he's trying a new surface for the first time. He goes from dirt to turf. He's bred to handle the turf. He's a son of American Pharoah. He's a half to a graded stakes winner on the turf as well. You get pedigree on top side and bottom side. And although Mark Glatt, he wins across the board. I mean, it's a strong barn in any type of division. But when you look at similar layoffs in turf sprints, he wins at 21%, and it's a positive ROI of over $2, $2.18. So it's really just a strong angle, and he's who I landed on.
A day to remember making a return to the races. Osage Creek already did that. Osage Creek was off for a long time before the most recent start. That was June 8th. Race number 6 at Santa Anita. Had not raced since the Del Mar summer meet back in August, so off about 9 months here. A decent third. This is 6.5 furlongs, though, on the turf on the main course at Santa Anita. Vastly different than the 5 furlongs we'll find here at Del Mar.
I like the cutback in distance for him. I do. I actually think he's got enough speed to maybe keep up with the rest of the field. And last time out, he faced older company. It was 3 and up. Today, he faces those straight 3-year-olds. And it depends on the time of the year that you kind of start to look at those types of races. But I do think it's a bit of a class relief. It is a tough field still today, but he doesn't have to go against older company.
One of the dilemmas I have at this meet is assessing that form at Los Alamitos. It's a short meet between Santa Anita and then coming here to Del Mar. Running Spartan debuted at that meet July 4th, race number 4 at Los Alamitos, going 5.5 furlongs. Finishes 3rd in a field of 6. That's the rub, because the horse did show some pace, and we're watching the break here from post position number 2, and that's pretty incredible because this horse got jostled around at the start, but Running Spartan still got to the lead at the quarter-mile mark. Got to give him credit for that. But here's the thing. When you finish 3rd in a field of 6 at that meet, you're just as close to last or you are to first. What do you think of Running Spartan coming to Del Mar, now on the turf, off this effort at Los Alamitos?
I really think he could be anything with his speed because of that poor beginning. When you're talking about a turf sprint, speed matters in any type of race, but especially in a turf sprint. And if he gets off to a better start, he could be the controlling speed, or he could just have new confidence, with an uncontested lead. Who knows? When I look at his pedigree, though, First Samurai out of the Congrats mare, there's a little bit of turf, but is he a better turf horse? Is he a better dirt horse? Doesn't matter at the end of the day if he makes a lead. I don't know. He is a very interesting horse, and I couldn't get a a good, strong opinion of him either way.
But we have to go back to your strong opinion in race number 4. It sounds like no doubt the 7, A Day to Remember, is your horse in here.
The 7, A Day to Remember, is my top selection. The 9 and Ready to Rumble is the other horse for me, actually. I loved his debut. Closing sprinter, he looks like. Last time out, he came off the layoff. Didn't really run too well on the dirt, but I like him coming back to a turf sprint today.
That's our thoughts on race number 4 on the 8-race card here at Del Mar. Let's go ahead to the feature race on the program. Race number 7 is the Fleet Treat. We're going to be going 7 furlongs for 3-year-old fillies in here. There is a scratch out of here, a couple of them actually. The Coal Miner's Daughter is out. The one, Loretta Lynn, has been withdrawn. And then we had the program scratch of the 10, Sham Rockin'. So with those 2 horses out, we're left with a field of 9. But I think there's 2 horses you have to concentrate on here. Let's start with the horse who's going to be the one to catch. That is Pushiness. How about the Rapoli Silks are going to be represented here? The commissioner knows that it pays to own a Calbred, and he bought this Calbred for a pretty good number. And last summer, she was awesome in her first 2 starts, so much so they took a shot in the Grade 1 Del Mar debutante. Now, her comeback to the races, her first start as a 3-year-old, was at the Los Alamitos meeting we were just talking about. But it was older horses. I give her a lot of credit for this return.
Yeah, no, she is very much the horse to beat today, Todd, just because of her resume. But also, I thought this was a really good comeback. Yeah, she was the beaten favorite, but I didn't mind it. I thought she was valiant even in defeat. Now, the question, I think, when you look at her record, what do you think about 7-8?
Okay.
That is the question.
Here's what I would say.
It could be she was just outclassed in the Del Mar.
I agree with that. And the Del Mar debutante hasn't turned out to be all that, so that's another concern. I don't think 7 furlongs is pushing her distance envelope, but there's another part to this. If you're on horse racing Twitter /X, which take some breaks every once in a while, everyone is talking about the speed biased racetrack here at Del Mar. I can't completely disagree. I think in sprint races, it's been pronounced. I think in route races, you can rally in a couple of spots, but maybe the racetrack works in Pushiness's favor. Yeah. Now, we are later in the day today. Could be a totally different racetrack. But yeah, over the first 3 days of racing, they're already declaring a speed bias. Maybe that helps out Pushiness. However,
did you pay attention to it opening weekend? And it was very much the case?
I think it was. Okay. I have to agree with it. And I don't always agree with the bias concepts that are out there. But if we were to take an even racetrack, I would prefer Grand Slam Smile at 7 furlongs rather than Pushiness. I like the turn back in distance. The Malaire is the race that Grand Slam Smile is coming out of. Now, she wins off by 4.5, but you might want to pay attention to some of the horses in behind, although, again, they were far back.
Yeah, Roberta's Love was in there. Sappho was in there as well. But with Grand Slam Smile, she won this race going 1 mile and a 16th. You got to ask yourself, is she better going 2 turns? Is she better going 1 turn? Can she do both? Is she just as effective? I do think it depends on the trip. Can she rate behind Pushiness? Does Pushiness get an uncontested lead? It really depends. I think both of these horses are equally as talented as one another, and it really does depend on how the track is playing and what kind of trip both of these horses get. But honestly, I think Grand Slam Smile, she's just good overall. She's won at 4.5 furlongs, 5 furlongs, 7/8, 1 mile and a 16th. She does it all.
Okay, 2 horses that also come out of similar races. Talking about Prancing Through Paris and Andiamo Ragazza. They met June 22nd, race number 1 at Los Alamitos. On this day, Prancing Through Paris, despite having been off since March, rallies just off the pace to win going away. Andiamo Ragazza, who was the favorite, stopped badly. What do you expect for these 2 horses as they come back here in the Fleet Treat?
I think they're a bit outclassed.
Okay.
We've seen Prancing Through Paris. She's tried to beat Grand Slam Smile on multiple occasions. She's not been able to do it at any distance. So I do think that she's up against it. I guess if you see the 4, Andiamo Ragazza, maybe she's got a little bit more upside because she's not as exposed as Prancing Through Paris. So I would probably go in that direction a little bit more, but I'll be honest, I don't like either.
I think I can say this. Are you saying that Prancing Through Paris can make the medal stand? Can at least make the podium?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that concludes our look at a couple of races on the 8-race card here at Del Mar. Join us for full team coverage, terrestrial television coverage on FanDuel TV. Again, the first race at 4 o'clock Pacific time. For Gabby Gaudet, I'm Todd Schrupp. Until next time, may all your